have to learn everything easier. You only have a few minutes.
Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
One right away.
All right, good evening, everyone. All right, I can't hear myself. Hello, welcome, everyone. There you go. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are going to try to get our first guest on because somebody's at the airport, didn't invite us along. Somebody thinks they're special, and they don't. Dr. Bryant and I are not welcome to go on his trips. So I'm just saying.
You know, y'all always welcome.
you know. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the Village Radio Talk Show. Where we're dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today. So, welcome everyone. Welcome, Dr. Bryant. Thank you, everyone. Let's get right into it. Right into it. Our guest today is former candidate, former vice president, former this, former that, but current Kyrie Edwards, and always will be Kyrie Edwards. Last time we saw you were running for borough president. And by the way, we did tell you you did very well, right, for a first time candidate for a major office.
Yeah, listen, I felt really good, man. Your man Matthew Eugene jacked me up. I could have been borough president if Matthew Eugene ain't steal about 40,000 votes, but um, God had other plans.
Did he give him a flat tire? Let me not say that in case he had a flat tire and it was you.
Nah.
No. I know it wasn't you. I know. But sometimes we're talking and all of a sudden, boom, you didn't know. I always tell people most people don't get in trouble because they're malicious. Most time people get in trouble because they inadvertently say something and something really might have happened and the person said, but then they really wasn't trying to do anything in the situation. So welcome.
Yes,
Uh,
welcome on 420 day.
20
Uh-huh.
for what? 420 what?
420. Come on, Roger. 420 is the
Listen,
National Cannabis Holiday.
are you serious?
Yeah,
Yes,
he
indeed.
came on 420.
That's
Yep,
why
that,
I saw that in the chat. I didn't know, man. Listen, I've never smoked weed in my life. I have no idea.
that's why I
So
told Andre it was perfect timing. Even though I can't stay long, it's perfect timing for me to jump in on the cannabis holiday.
I didn't even know that. So today's Happy Cannabis Day
Yeah.
to all my weed heads out there. Right,
So
right.
wait. The last time he was here, he was running for mayoral, like you mentioned. So what do you do
Yeah.
now to introduce yourself to our listeners on
In
this?
your new position.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, I ended up placing fourth. I think I passed Matthew at like the ninth round, which was cool. And after that, I was trying to figure out what my next steps in life were going to be. And I reached a friend of my wife's actually reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in cannabis. And I was like, it's not really my thing. What would they want me to do? And they were talking about being the head of corporate and social responsibility and what that meant to communities of color. And so all across the country, our people, Black and brown people, have been villainized, have been stopped and frisked, has been locked up for things that really are healing parts of nature. And so my role, I work for a company called Air Wellness. I don't know if you can see it on my t-shirt. Pronounced, it's
Yeah,
We see
spelled
hanging.
your
AYR.
camera's a little bit too low, but we see
Uh-oh.
something right in.
We
Right.
see hanging.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
So it's Air Wellness is a multi-state operator in cannabis. We are operating currently in 8 states. We're applying in New York State for what they call a medical vertical, where we are able to do seed to sale. We're able to grow it, manufacture it, package it, distribute it, and then also sell it at retail locations. And my role is to really bring equity and social justice to folks who have been affected by the war on drugs. So I'm currently in Rochester because today in Rochester we did a 420 expungement event in partnership with State Senator Jerry Cooney from up here. And to date, we've expunged over 6,000 records. Today alone, almost 200. And so it's like being a borough president in 8 different states. It's really about creating equity for our people, creating a voice, an opportunity. And so this has been really a godsend to me in just being able to continue the advocacy work, not only for Brooklyn, but literally Massachusetts, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Florida. I mean, I'm literally in 8 states doing this work for our people. And so when
wait,
yeah.
You said expunge. For those who don't know what expunge is, can you elaborate a little bit more?
Yes. So, when someone gets locked up for something, right? Whether it's a felony, whether it's a misdemeanor, they have a record. And what the process of expungement is that we petition the DA's office or the state to see that record and have that record removed from somebody's report, so that it's almost as though it's never happened. It's not being sealed, it's actually gone away. And New York State has done an amazing job, because if anyone's had a cannabis conviction prior to 2021, that record is automatically expunged. So I would definitely want to let your listeners know, if they've had a non-violent cannabis case, that no longer is on their record, and all they have to really do is check it out. But what we also realized is that in many cases, there were secondary charges for a lot of folks that came with it. So you may have a cannabis charge and a breaking and entering, or cannabis charge and grand larceny. And what we realized is that in particular, even though you take the metal handcuffs off of folks, you still have paper handcuffs. You can't get public housing. You could probably, not often even get a job. In some cases, you can't get health care. So what we're trying to do when we come into New York is to be really good corporate partners. The moral phrase for us at AIR is being a force for good. And so again, I'll show you guys my T-shirt.
Changing legacies.
Right. And so that's our expungement event, because what we do want to do is take the history of prohibition, the history of being locked up for cannabis, taking that out of people's lives and giving them a fresh start. And so every Black History Month, I do this in all of our regions. So last year we did 8 regions. This year we did 8, but now we're expanding to different areas where Rochester, although we did New York, upstate is what we do. And so 420 for us is more about a strong social justice platform, not just about, enjoying the cannabis, but really about pushing the agenda to get our folks back into a place where they should be able to have their lives restored to them.
Now, I have a question. I know that the last time I saw you, you mentioned that I think it was the day that New York City, Brooklyn and Queens did get the approval for the cannabis approval. I guess my beef is Manhattan received their approval, and then it was all war on the stores that's selling all types of the illegal stores,
right?
So-called illegal stores. Now that Brooklyn and Queens receive their application, does it mean that we're going to go all out war on illegal places in Queens and Brooklyn as well?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different factors to that, right? The reason why Brooklyn, some of the what they call the Finger Lakes regions are blocked, because there was a lawsuit talking about the fact that it was unfair that if you had a cannabis conviction and it was in New York, it was outside of New York, they blocked you from applying. So someone did sued the state about that. So that's what blocked Brooklyn, some parts of Queens and upstate. The issue with the illegal shops are a whole bunch of things. So I'm in this industry and we go through rigorous testing, right? We have to make sure that the cannabis that we grow doesn't have mold, doesn't have lead, doesn't have aluminum in it. And what's happening is a lot of these stores are not regulated. Right. So if you go into the stores, you might get a $10 dime bag, right? But you don't know what's in that. And what it is also costing the state of New York almost $2 to $3 billion in revenue. And so the danger of that is they're opening it up across by schools, they're opening it by your churches. You know, people enjoy getting high, right? It's nothing wrong with it. Like, you know, we go around and we rub seniors down with cannabis rub to take care of their get rid of their arthritis.
With my rub, brother. With my rub.
You know,
with my rub, man. With my rub.
I'm not gonna let everybody know the address, but you know the address. I got it sitting in the house. But so the important part of it is that these folks are, one, it's taking away money from the state of New York. Two, you don't know what you're smoking
or drinking, because now
drinking.
A lot of places, bodegas across the street from schools, are having illegal cannabis drinks.
Yeah,
Kids are buying it. So how can we put warning for that? And how can your organization help with educating people on that?
Right. So we're out in the community. Like I said, we're not in New York yet, but one of, like I said, our moral compasses is to be out in the community, talking to everybody, seniors, pastors.
You're in New York, but you're just in Rochester.
Right. No, we're not in New York. We're applying for a license in New York.
Okay.
The stores that you see that popping up, the Fire OG, the Lit, all of these things, they have no license by the OCM, which is the Office of Cannabis Management. They're legal, literally, because they're selling an unlicensed product. It's like,
is it legal or illegal?
Illegal.
Okay.
So they're selling an unlicensed product. So it's like selling cigarettes that have not been, you know, registered, right? And so what New York's trying to do is not go back to the days where they're locking folks up. And by doing that, it's making it hard to kind of enforce these illegal shops. So now the governor and the mayor are fining these stores $10,000 a day if they're caught doing it, but it's popping up so much that at some point it's going to get out of hand, and I think they're going to have to do something about it. But if you look at the things that City Councilwoman Gail Brewer is doing, she's going with the sheriffs in the stores. You have to have more of a community focus and have folks now go into their community places and say, don't shop at that store. Don't buy from that. Stop the students from doing that. Because if we don't, it's going to get really bad. I mean, it's bad upstate. It's bad downstate. That folks are taking advantage of this.
But what about she's right. What about the store? But also the drinks. Now bodegas are getting part of this. They're, you know, selling illegal.
Yeah. So again, I want to say it's more unlicensed, right? Because some things are coming from California. Some things would be legal, but they're unlicensed. So again, if something happens, there's no one to talk to. If you know, look, I had a seltzer, right, from our store. I drank it. I thought I was having a heart attack. It wasn't going to kill me. Cannabis hasn't killed anyone. But if you give it to somebody who doesn't know what the effects are, how it is, you could have a bunch of people run into the emergency room. If you guys remember when I was at Brookdale, we had a bad K2, you know, and folks were losing their mind. Because what people don't understand is that cannabis, as healthy as it is, we have a endocannabinoid system, right, which kind of predates our DNA. So we are genetically connected to cannabis. So cannabis doesn't hurt us. But in some cases, if you have a mental disorder, right, if you have schizophrenia, if you have bipolar and you smoke cannabis, especially at a young age, it triggers that. And so if you don't kind of understand what cannabis is and you're just smoking to get high, and now you're smoking unregulated stuff, you now create a bigger issue for someone who probably, if they went to a normal dispensary, a legal dispensary, someone would have asked them those questions. Someone would have said, hey, if you have this history, maybe this isn't for you. Or if you're under 21, maybe we wouldn't sell it. And so that's why I think the proliferation of these illegal stores are getting dangerous, because now they're everywhere. And every time you close one, another one opens up. So I think it has to be a full-blown effort between the governor, the mayor, but community members. Like, we have to take to the streets and educate our communities like you guys are doing today to talk about it. And so, Monet, I see, what about smoke shops? If you go to a smoke shop and they're selling a CBD product, fine. Or what they call a paraphernalia, fine. But if you go to the back of the store and they're going to give you an eighth for $10, would you now smoke?
Baby.
Yeah, but you gonna buy it, and then God help you if it's not good stuff.
I have two questions, and I know we very short on time. Were you heading back to the city, or you?
Yeah, I'm flying back.
So I have
Man,
two.
he always flying somewhere.
Yeah, we were
Always
just
on a
talking
plane.
about that, and we were never invited. You missed that.
Oh, no, hold on. Who talking?
No,
I know you ain't talking.
wait. We don't want to lose you.
I know you ain't
Wait.
talking.
You can
Yeah.
cuss me in a minute, right? I have two
And John,
questions.
listen, let him know Rochester ain't as sexy as Jamaica. Let's
Trust me.
keep it 100.
I've flown into Rochester. They have discounted cars. But the two questions I have is they're twofolds, right? When you started off the conversation, you talk about cannabis forgiveness, right? And the creating the opportunity for people to get their records expunged.
Right.
I want to know when is that going to happen in the city? What is the works? Is it 3 months? I know you said something in the works that might be in the works, but what does that look like? Because downstate, you have, probably a few 100,000 people who have been hit with smoking a joint, right? That's not being expunged, not this, or they don't know, right?
Right.
So there can be conversation about coming to the community board, setting up a meeting, a town hall for people meeting. You know what? They're at the park, right? We have a couple of events in the park. When is that information is going to come out so people know? Maybe go to them. Within our community, a lot of people don't go to these events. They wait for you to come to them and say they don't know. I didn't know. I was ignorant of it. So
Right.
That's one. That's the first question.
Uh-huh.
The second question is schools, right? When are we going to go into schools to have those laced conversations, right? Marijuana itself as a product, I'm a firm believer, right? I'm a firm believer that you can't tell me that marijuana medicinally is good for you. And the last time I checked, you take a medication when you're sick. You don't take a medication when you're not sick, right? Because then it does harm to the body. But if you want to say it's good to keep you healthy, that's one thing. I'm talking about when you add something to the marijuana, when you lace it, when people.
They
I
have been
have
having
two family members. I have two family members who have lost their minds because of marijuana, and they are not vegetables, but they can't get a job. They can't do nothing because of the marijuana. I have a couple other family members who I know they need to stop.
Because of the marijuana, it was laced with something, or because they smoked
No.
marijuana all the time?
No, one was because it was laced,
Okay.
right? One was they're chain smokers, right? And also the economic burden of it, right? So those three things. Let me pause so you can answer them. One again is expungement in New York. Two is talking to young people about the negative effects, not just the positive effects.
So let me talk about the expungement. Like I said, every year in New York, in all of the regions, we do these expungement clinics, right? And these expungement clinics are really to support those who have secondary charges. The way that we get the word out are through your show, right? Through the churches. Like, we go out into the community and let folks know that if you have a marijuana charge, a nonviolent one, the state of New York has automatically expunged it. What ends up happening is that it started out 600,000 people when the law first happened. They think it's more close to 1 million. Out of that 600,000, they're thinking maybe 200,000 no. So that we have to keep beating the drum. Like, even up in Rochester today, we had a bunch of folks that showed up, and all we had to do was tell them, listen, that conviction's already expunged. And they went home very happy.
I wanted wait. I know what about, even though it's expunged, is it also cleared? Meaning that if that person is going up for a law enforcement job, if that person is going up for a governmental job, is it where the point where the officer or the intake person cannot ask you questions regarding that conviction?
So legally, you're not supposed to ask anybody about a conviction like that nowadays, right? The expungement, and John is the lawyer, that expungement means it's removed off of your record. So it's like it never existed.
But your fingerprint is still there.
That has already happened.
If you're doing sensitive jobs, law enforcement, FBI, things of that nature, they still can get access to those.
Right.
But that's what I'm talking about, removing up that whole thing.
I mean, it's honestly never really removed, depending to the degree of which you're looking to work.
Right.
And for the other two, right, we've partnered with a group called Cultivated Community Foundation. They go into the schools for us, right? They go and speak to, and if you need them to come to your school, I have them come. They are licensed through the DOE to go out and speak about prevention through young people, right? And again, but we're one company, right? We're one set of folks, and I love my borough, I love my state, so I'm able to do that at a higher clip, but it's not something that everyone is doing. We'd like to embarrass folks to do everything, but it means for me to come on your show more and move the needle and have folks talk about it, because those are the things that happen. As for your two family members, like I said earlier, if you have a predisposed medical condition of some type of medical health, cannabis can trigger that. And we've always been honest about that. If it's laced, then that's something no different than if somebody roofies your alcohol. And so these are the things that create these places that are of concern. Cannabis in its natural form, if you don't have a mental disorder, does not do anything more than get you high, more than reduce your inflammation, and it's God's medicine. But in these other cases, there are always exceptions to the rules. That's probably what happened, especially what you saying that your family member went through that.
Make sense. How does somebody get a cannabis card?
Oh, so that one, there's several different ways. Look, they have it on Groupon right now. A medical card, you could go on Groupon and apply for a medical card. It's a short screening to ask you a bunch of questions. I'm diabetic. I got 8 different states because I'm obviously diabetic. Usually it depends on residency, but medical cards are not hard to get. What I'll do is, I know I got to jump on this plane, but I'll drop it into your chat to give out to your folks. I prefer folks get a medical card. Right now, the accessibility to these medical dispensaries are not great. That's another issue that I'd love to come and talk about next week, about the impact of Black and brown communities and this lack of.
Bring a little something, right?
Oh, for sure, I'll come in person.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely love to talk about the impact of Black and brown communities as it pertains to this medical access. But I gotta run because
Before you jump in the plane.
Well, he'll be on next week, and he could text us or email us, and we'll update everyone because we do not want him to miss his flight. Next week we'll be on, so please tune in next week.
Yep.
Next week, Mr. Edwards will be on, and you can learn more about how to partner and everything.
Yep.
Let me hold something.
Make sure you walk into the studio, Carrie.
I will.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. Before you get up, Elizabeth says hello from Brookdale. Elizabeth. She says, and I forgot. I told her you were going to come on. She's still.
All right.
I'll be on next week, though.
All right. Safe flight. Safe flight.
You coming in, brother? You're
coming in, not on. Come in. Come in. Simone, you brought up a very. Oh, you starting that? All right. So we're going to start the.
Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessings, blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come on to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
Good evening again and welcome back to everyone. I'm still muted. All right. So good evening and welcome back to everyone. Thank you for joining us right here in the village. Our first guest had to go, so we started a little bit backwards today. We started with the guest, give John time to get to the studio, start eating his lobster. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's what John was having. So I couldn't make it to the studio in time. He had a couple of lobster tails, didn't bring any to us, but we're gonna forgive him.
I'm allergic to lobsters. Okay.
Yeah, he was having some lobster tail. I
Yeah,
know,
right. Yeah.
Hey, John, you know what? I'm looking for a job. I want a job.
Commercial first. No, no commercial.
No, we could go to commercial. Yeah.
No, we just had a commercial. No, man, we just started, man.
We just had a guest.
So we had a guest, but let's get let's get
Whatever. So yeah, John, I'm looking for a job. I need a job now.
Yeah. Oh,
You know what? I'm gonna tell you why I need a job. I'm gonna tell you why I need a
Get
job.
back on the screen, please.
Yeah, you're still there. Yeah, you automatically there. Right? You know why I need a job?
You bought a home.
No, I'm not going home.
Buy some weed, boy.
I need to buy some weed. I need to open up my own smoke shop. You know why I need it? Because now, so I went to the doctor. Today's Thursday, and everybody knows every other Thursday is my chemo day, right? So today I went to the doctor, and I was trying to have a conversation with the office manager. And I'm trying to explain to them why I'm having this conversation. But my doctor is Asian. I hate to use these comments, but you can't go to the Asian store and owe them a penny. They want the penny, right? So I'm trying to explain to the doctor office, how can we both get what we both want, right? All they heard was something else. So I need a job because my new medication will now cost. I lost others because I'm on Medicare. And this is one of them that I lost. So I know, I come in with that pump every other Thursday when I have the chemo. I no longer have access to the pump because it's not covered by Medicare. So it's wait. The medication is covered by Medicare, but the pump that it comes into for you to use the medication is not covered by Medicare. If that makes sense. Like your lens are covered by your insurance, but not the frame of the glasses, right? And it's only this one company that produces the pump, right? Yes, I can come, depending on when the date is. I don't know if John can come. So now the new cost is $82.70 per visit. So that's $165.40 every month, right? So when you do the math, that's close to $2,000 for the year.
Right, go ahead.
And then the new Neulasta is ineffective. I mean, the new medication is not as effective. And look at my hands, right? So all of these things are affected. So now I need a job so I could go back to my primary medication that I was using that would be covered by my job. So I need a job, but I can't work. I have to be able to make more than what I make now after taxes because I can't go back to work just to go back to work. So I need a job. So anybody out there, anybody want the principal of your school? I'm applying. Principal, not AP. I don't want no AP job. AP is a freaking headache.
So are you saying you're going
hire me to work for the mayor.
that means you're going to reverse your retirement to go back and work? Is that what you're saying?
Because remember something important. I gotta pay those medical bills. And those medical bills, you guys don't get it. When we talk about get your pre-screen, get you find out prevention is a health. I mean, my cancer is not something 90-something% of the people with pancreatic cancer get diagnosed as stage 4. There's certain cancers that it just sneak up on you. Prostate cancer is not something that sneaks up on you. If you get prostate cancer, because you really didn't go to the doctor. Breast cancer is you didn't do your mammogram, right? Again, I'm not blaming the victim. I'm just simply stating that if you do your mammogram, you do your prostate check, those kind of things, your colonoscopy, those kind of things, it decreases the likelihood of you getting certain cancer. I mean, I'm learning these things, right? You start getting a lot of headaches, go to the doctor, it might be developing a tumor. Don't ignore it, things like that. Like work on it, right? But with pancreatic cancer, it's not something that you are going to check. You usually find it when you look for something else in between. So I need a job. So ladies and gentlemen, you need a principal. Let me know. See if I can come out of retirement and become a principal. Again, I don't want to be no AP or come, John, let me come work for you and work side by side with you. Give me a good job. I'll make me your boss since I need to make more.
Shit, I'll just pay you not to come to work, man.
That's I'll take that too. I'll take that too. Did I tell you that they did I bring up that one of my insurance company asked me, they researched and said I was doing this job here and if I'm getting paid. Did I say that? That was funny as hell. So what's going on? Career day. When is the date, Doctor? That is a stressful position. May 5th. That's Friday, May 5th. Yeah. All right. What time? Let me know what time. So let me know what time. I definitely can make it May 5th. Because at May 6th, I got to go to my son's game. But so May 5th, I can make it if you let me know what time. I might not be able to spend the whole day. Yeah, I agree with you. I said decrease. That doesn't it doesn't mean eliminate. It means decrease the likelihood of certain cancers if you do your checkup. And in some people, people die at stage 2, right? And because it just becomes more aggressive, right? It just becomes more aggressive than for other people, depending on family genes and all the other stuff. Anyway, I don't want to carry no sad note. Tomorrow is Eid Fitr, so our Muslim sisters and brothers out there just want to started this evening actually, in a little bit at sunset.
School's closed tomorrow.
School closes tomorrow and all the kids are taking their exams.
Parking inside street, the parking is canceled.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't affect me, but I wish we would cancel and carry through Monday and Tuesday of next week. We good, right? The city, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, just want to point out, tickets are going up.
What's up, Jay? What's up,
Right.
JJ?
Right, tickets are going up at an astronomical.
Yeah. Oh my God.
rate.
I'm complaining about that.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
alternate side of the street, parking ticket is $65 now.
I'm talking about flight tickets.
Oh,
You
you're talking about flying. Oh, yeah, but everything's up. I went to, my son had a game on Tuesday. I bought my mother, maybe it's good for me because I shouldn't be eating ice cream anyway, right? I bought my mother ice cream because she shouldn't be eating it either. I bought an ice cream, John, 2 ice cream, with the peanut, what do you call it, sprinkles, or what do they call them? And I bought her a strawberry. I brought my son a strawberry ice cream. What do you call the other? It's on a popsicle stick. Whatever you call those things. Those 3 things, $20. Back in the days, those 3 things didn't cost $8.
$3.
Right? I'm talking about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 10 years ago. Maybe $3.50 for the ice cream.
Then you go to a restaurant now. Look at some of these West Indian restaurants. Red Snapper's like $40.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? I went to one restaurant. Shoot, oxtail was $42.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous for the not the takeout. I'm talking about sit down takeout. I went to one restaurant.
Well, the restaurant across the street from the show.
As expensive as all that.
Expensive.
Yeah. I went to a restaurant a takeout restaurant on Church Avenue. They charge $30 for a large oxtail takeout. That's ridiculous. What's going on in the news?
One thing that's going on in the news is as domestic violence is a serious thing. So when one gets accused of engaging in domestic violence, the public wrath can be unbearable. And your careers, or you could be totally destroyed. We're looking at I think Mr. Major.
Yeah, Jonathan Major.
Jonathan Major. Could you tell us something about that, Dr. Bryant?
Well, his case is going to be coming up May 6th. May 6th or 8th. His trial is coming up. He was dropped by the Army. He was dropped by the Texas Rangers. He was dropped by his PR. He was dropped by his management company. They're watching further to see if he's going to play as Dennis Rodman. So he's been dropped from everything. He was canceled from going to the Mets award ceremony next week or this week coming up. So everything that he's affiliated with has come to an end. That's the same way that they treated Bill Cosby and people who have committed other forms of crime like murder. The other gentleman who was not found guilty, but they kept him going. They kept his movie going. They kept things going. But when it comes to a black individual who's accused of anything, you are guilty until proven innocent, and everything will be eliminated.
And his girlfriend, I mean, what about his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend?
Well,
Who
they
is she?
found
Who
that
is she? Who is she?
they're
I mean,
looking. She's actually an actress. That was on
what persuasion?
Caucasian. That's what he wanted. So he actually dated a Caucasian lady, and unfortunately
In villages, that means a white woman.
accused of attacking, similar to back in the days, way back in the days. Anything you do wrong, you will pay. But I wonder if the outcome would have been the same if it was a black female that accused him of attacking.
I think it would be. I think
the windfall is going to be the same.
Any form of violence towards,
Which is good.
Black, white,
I'm not saying anything, but you know,
a woman, any sort of violence against a woman, irrespective of the color of her skin, brings the wrath because of, everybody talks about the Me Too movement. You also talk about the whole O.J. Simpson case, which really spearheaded this movement and domestic violence, bringing it to the forefront, which it should be.
I still hold to my position.
To my villagers out there, to young men, young women, to men and women, period. It is always easier to walk away instead of engaging into some sort of conflict.
I still hold to my position.
Oh God! Please don't start the stupidity that you did last time.
It's funny, right? It's
Oh,
funny.
wait. Thank you, Simone. She said I doubt the outcome would be the same. So
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
What I do know is that black woman, right?
Oh Lord.
Not that the outcome wouldn't be the same, but black women have a less tendency or likelihood to go after domestic violence. Not that they don't. I'm not saying that they don't. That's not the point of the comment. The point of the comment is that you find that when you're in a relationship with a black woman, it's like a lot of times when you see like sexual harassment cases, all those cases in the news, the last major black woman who brought that that I can remember, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, that I can remember was the woman with Isaiah Thomas, right? That's the last one I remember, right? Not that, right? So, but I remember a lot more cases where white women on black men are far more prevalent, right? Right? So, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen in both races, but with that, Isaiah Thomas lost his job as was he general manager of the New York Knicks. So it does happen. Going back to what I was saying earlier is that I think that we really need to start teaching all individuals, right? That you really need to learn to not put your hands on anybody, regardless if you're male or female, period, right? I mean, since that last time we had a conversation when I made the statement, not how I wanted to say it, but it came out wrong. And I'm grown enough to say that the statement came out wrong.
Hold on.
Right?
Is this a Maya Cup like Fox News?
No.
Okay.
What I'm saying is I've had this conversation. Even today, I was having this conversation. And the person said, I used to work in a domestic violence shelter. Right? And working in that domestic violence center, you see what both sexes have done to the next person. that walking away might not be the immediate accessible action, right? It might not be. And both sexes are causing some serious damage to each other.
Yeah, but you know what?
And that's what I was trying to get across, that we need to teach our young ladies and our young men to be physically, not fiscally, but physically responsible for their own behavior. Because they can start something, somebody else can finish it.
Well, you can
and vice
start,
versa.
but once again, this is not about violence.
Right, exactly.
Once again, it is about avoiding any sort of
Yep.
conflict,
Especially when it gets to physical.
non-domestic.
Especially when it's getting
It's
to physical.
always good to walk away.
And
Irrespective of, I've always been taught, and I truly believe, irrespective of how vicious words can be said, you do not hit a woman, period, exclamation point. It is better
that's
to
the
just,
statement I don't like.
it's just better to walk away. If you feel there's going to be some sort of encounter, physical, it's better to just walk away.
That's the statement I don't like. You should not hit a woman. That's the statement I don't like. I like the statement of saying that no one should hit anyone. That's the statement I like. Not that you shouldn't hit a woman.
Do not hit a woman.
No. So that's the statement I don't
Period.
like. Because now, you know what it's saying? You know,
feel like that she can do it.
Yeah, like that, you make it feel like it's okay for a woman to hit a man.
I'm not saying it's
But that's
okay.
not what you're saying.
She can't hit what she don't see. She can't hit if you're not there. So
Again,
just walk away.
Let me tell you something.
As I said, walk
wait,
away from love.
wait, I've met
able to get out of this situation.
Right.
Implied.
Wait.
Well, no, hold on. But you should know. You know what? In the situation, you need to.
You can't win.
No. You first of all, you can't win. Second of all, you should know the volatility of the person you are involved with, engaged with.
Yes, the red
You
flag.
should
Right,
know
Jennifer.
the red flag.
You should know when to say, you know what, this relationship is not for me. Because you're gonna make me do something. I shouldn't use the word make me because you're still responsible for yourself. I am gonna do something that I should not be doing. And then, if I know that I'm gonna do something I know that. Let me go back. You know what I hate? I hate the statement of, I had a student who said to her mother in a parent-teachers conference, don't let me do something because you know how I get. And I'm gonna,
what?
right?
Yo.
She, and it's a female, she got into enough fights, male, and she's going to start them. And I'm telling you front, she is going to start them because she is not backing down.
Who's this, the child?
The young lady,
And she said this to her mother.
she's told her mother that. That's what so imagine she telling her own mother that. Much less you, her boyfriend.
Because
You're muted, Dr. Brian. You can't hear you.
that's a situation where, man, if I was to ever tell my mother something like that,
You and I will never tell them about. Can we not say it? We're wearing false teeth. Right? We're wearing false teeth if that were to happen. And maybe a cast here and there. You know what I'm saying? But she told her mother
But
that.
that behavior, that behavior is condoning you allow that behavior to happen. No, you nip that shit in the bud in the beginning, exclamation point.
Yeah, you know, Jennifer, my point is, there's something, I skipped your comment. That is right, John. Walk away. Yes, if you can get to that point.
Because I wouldn't be in that predicament because I would know. I would know.
Sometimes
remember.
The minute the voices get loud.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Do you have a comment?
The minute the voices are at a level, it's time to
Yes,
leave.
once I identify it, it's time to go, right? But you have to get to that identification first. You know what I hate? The statement of when people
Dr.
say,
Brian, I think Dr. Brian,
are you, well, just me, is, I have mental
Really,
issues.
Dr. Bryant. Really.
Right? You have mental issues, or you know how I can get angry. Right? That means, to me, when you're making that statement, is that you are aware, somewhat aware of the behavior, and like you're saying, walk away. You, male or female, know that you have limited physical self-control for you also to walk away.
Dr. Bryant.
You're unmuted now. We can hear you now.
No, I'm hearing everything you're saying. This
Don't
topic,
use the word but.
this topic,
Logic, use logic, Dr. Bryant.
this topic. First of all, I commend you, Roger, for stating that you were wrong the
wish I had
last
that
time that
button.
you used the wrong
Applause. I didn't say I was wrong. I said the statement wrong.
kudos to you. And like Jennifer says, there are red flags. You shouldn't be in any relationship that is your so-called trigger.
Yeah.
There is self-control.
The red flag.
There's self-control. No one has any business, female, male, of physically abusing or verbally abusing.
Other types of abuse. Yep.
So that is so true. Red flag, once the anger is above, like you're breaking things, and here it is, you're knocking fist through the walls and things like that. That's a problem. That's a woo.
You know what I hate, Dr. Bryant? And let's say, oh, he loves me or she loves me.
And that's why you got a black eye.
That's why you black eye.
He got a black
identify
eye.
the signs.
Black eye, right?
We don't want to spend too long on the topic. We want to move on to one next topic, which is this month is Sexual Abuse Awareness Month. DOE just put out something this week. No, not DOE, the New York Post put out something this week that said that sexual misconduct amongst teachers are up 61%. I think, what was that number? Andre, can you pull up the article? I think I sent it to you. 9,686 or 9,800. Andre will tell me the exact number.
They're abusing their students.
Abusing sexual misconduct. They put it all under one umbrella because once you get to OSI or OPI, they put so that one teacher, for example, was soliciting threesomes on her DOE email. We had a couple of inappropriate relationships with students. Sometimes it's just a word, sometimes an action, but they all call it misconduct. And I just want to talk about, last year I had the opportunity to sit on a panel to talk about stop hiding, right? Stop hiding. And just want to remind our parents and Ingrid Walker, Dr. Walker Descartes, who came on, talked a lot about that. Have real conversation with your children. Do not trust. Do not, especially us as West Indian parents, we like to say that our children are too fast. Sometimes you made that. You created them, making them too fast by having inappropriate conversation, inappropriate music, inappropriate, and not real conversations. You shut them up. So identify a lot of sexual misconduct comes from the friends and family members, and it's happening to male and females. So just some things that we, especially those of us in the school system, when a kid comes home and have a question, a comment, please make sure that you answer them. Simone DeCass has mandated sexual abuse conduct workshop. For whom? For the teachers, for the school, for the parents, for whom?
9,813.
9,813 cases.
Up 60% from 2021.
Up 60% from 2021 since COVID.
And they can't blame it on COVID. They cannot.
No. I said up since COVID. They're not blaming COVID.
That's it.
No, they're not blaming COVID. They said, I guess, since just the timestamp since 2021, and the kids, I guess, going back to school.
So,
Wait, before you say what you're about to say, I think for your parent workshop, maybe one of those conversations is, we're talking about teacher workshop for DOE employees. Maybe we also need to do one. Maybe you need to think about doing one for parents and identifying things in your workshop as well. Multiple inlets for different things. You were saying something.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. So an area that also you were talking about young folks. That also is very alarming. Is the young gentleman who got shot
Or the
going
16.
the wrong door, and also the young lady who got murdered driving up. She was a teenager, and another young lady who got shot yesterday, going to the wrong car late at night, coming from a supermarket, a cheerleader. So it's so
Oh yeah, in the parking lot. Yeah.
nowadays. I don't know where people feel that, hey, if somebody approach me wrong, I'm just gonna shoot and say, stand on my ground. I'm staying in my ground. No, that is not acceptable. And some of them are legal, some of them are not legal. But the thing is, just because you have a gun doesn't mean that you have to use it at all costs and through bullets, through doors, through the doorknobs, through windows or whatever. That is ridiculous. That is no excuse. That is no excuse. Self control. And have you noticed that the people who have been shooting have not been African American? There was the one who shot the young lady, the cheerleader. He was Hispanic, but it is older folks. It is younger folks. It is no reason just because you see someone, hey, I made a mistake and I knock on the wrong door, and all of a sudden you think I'm going to come and attack you, that is senseless. Thank God the boy is still alive. That's the miracle that came out of everything. Being shot in the head, in the forehead, and in the arm, but God, you're still
God
here.
is good. One of the things that I always talk about, it's what the media is portraying nowadays,
Oh,
right? It's what the media is portraying, right? It's unfortunate, right? And these are the casualties of war. It's sad. It's so sad. Um, I just got a clip in from somebody in Atlanta, right, where the man on the news shot 3 people or shot at 350 with an AR-15 because apparently they were coming to rob his car from his driveway. So the question becomes, what do you do, right? You don't know what's happening. It's very sad. It's very unfortunate because everybody's not up to no good, and it's ultimately coming to survival of the fit, the survival of the fittest or the most scared, right? Is one or the other, right? So it's a problem, right? It's a problem within our country, and that's is a it's. I always say have a gun because I rather be above ground than below ground,
Amen.
right? And so that's a problem. So unless the United States is saying, like other countries, we are going to abolish guns, get rid of the Second Amendment, right? Right? I also watched something else. In the black communities, black people don't create guns. We don't make guns, right? We don't own gun manufacturing companies. We might work for them, right, and following orders, but we don't own them. Most of the guns in the black community, most guns in a black community are illegal. Most, not all, but most. So where they're coming from, right? And so it's a panic state. So what do you suggest that we do, Dr. Brian or Dr. Sampson? What do we do in the media to change the focus, right? What do we do to change the focus and the conversation so people don't have a need, right? A need nor a want for guns. What do we do? Let's start with you, Dr. Sampson. What do you think?
What you really need to understand is the psyche of individuals and why
A little louder.
It's about understanding the psyche of an individual and how attached do they feel to possess a firearm. What is the root cause? Is it really for your safety? And when you're put in a predicament, or it is definitely power because
That's a good point. I
even
didn't think about that.
even when you it's like they tell you when you learn martial arts, they tell you you are considered to be a lethal weapon, and you
You're
have to
muted,
be,
Dr. Brian.
you have to be able to use it only when it's absolutely necessary. You have to be able to discern and de-escalate a situation before it is triggered. But now no one is de-escalating. Everybody wants to engage, and they feel even more emboldened because they have a firearm with them. At that point in time, they feel invincible until you find somebody on the opposite side who has a firearm also.
Yep.
So I think we have to, one, increase the penalties upon those who choose to carry these illegal guns. It's just like with the feds, certain drugs have a mandatory minimum. So there needs to be, if in fact you are in possession of a firearm, it should be a mandatory sentence of minimum of 10 years. Minimum of 10 years. And if the gun is loaded, you get 1 year on top of each bullet in that gun. It has to come to the point now where people understand that their absolute freedom is going to be taken away from them for a long period of time, to understand the magnitude of what guns have done throughout our society, but it has really destroyed generation upon generation upon generation. Dr. Bryant?
You know, a few years ago, Bloomberg put into law that if you had a gun, it's a mandatory 2 years. You know, that actually slowed down a lot of the shootings. That actually was effective in stopping some of the violence that was happening within our communities. You know that? Because people...
It wasn't 2 years. It was mandatory 3 to 5.
3 to 5, right? And then something like... No, I think it was 2. Caplexical Burris only got 2.
It was 3 to 5, though.
Look at how... Yeah, okay. But either way, it was effective, right? It became a very stringent rules on who will be arrested and why.
But what they should be doing is all those gun arrests, they should be passing them over to the feds.
Unfortunately, the far left liberal Democrats want to put, oh, we're too incarceration happy. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. People hurt people.
Well, gun is the object that is used.
Yes, but if you don't have one,
even if you have one, you have these clowns who's shooting in the middle of the street.
But what I'm saying is, if you don't have one, or if the gun is put down, if I left my gun on the table,
Roderick, I don't know what bubble you're living in. Have you not seen that guns? You have one person.
We're saying the same thing.
Person
we're saying the same thing.
No.
Yes, we are. We're saying the same thing. We're saying guns. I'm saying guns by themselves does not hurt anyone. It's the person who's using the gun is hurting someone. So if you don't have a gun, you don't utilize the gun, you don't carry the gun, you know, there's stipulations for having a gun. All of those things decreases the effectiveness of guns. So if it's in the shop on the wall and nobody has it, who's it hurting? That's what I'm saying. But you're right. People have the gun shooting at each other, shooting up in cars. Like the lady was sitting in her car. I don't remember where it was. She was sitting in her car and she got shot and killed in the front seat of her car.
It was, you know where? In your district.
In
not far from Pathmark. Off over there. It was last year at that time.
Right. But that's the carelessness that I'm talking about.
The kid that got killed eating, they had pulled to the side to eat, and he got murdered sitting in the back eating.
Not that, I wasn't talking about that one. I was talking about there was a lady.
So So what
Oh
do you
yeah,
say?
oh no, that was the one in Massachusetts.
Yeah,
That was
if she had,
that-
if
it's
she had a
connected in
gun,
Europe.
it would have made a difference. It would not have made a difference. You're innocent no matter what. Your
Well, I
wife,
didn't hear you. I didn't hear the first part of what you said.
even if she had a gun, what would the difference would it make? It wouldn't make any difference.
No, but again, it still goes back to all I'm saying, Dr. Brian, is
You
that,
have crazy people who have guns.
and that's the point. We have to limit the access to guns so people
Guess
don't,
what? The people who have the license are also killing people senselessly.
not at the same level.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No, it's
Yes,
not.
it is.
You got to read the
It's
numbers.
happening at the different states as well.
No,
It
it's
is happening.
not.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
You have to look up the data.
Okay,
Most
I'll look up the
murders,
Ding, 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 ding. Everybody gets back to their respective
know,
corners now.
most murders that happen in large cities. Again, most, not all. Okay,
Don't believe the hype, my
all right. Most murders that happens from illegal guns, and they happen in large cities where it's generally most killings, unfortunately, homicides happen in Democrat
Lie.
governed areas,
That is true.
right? We don't like to talk the real truth.
It's true.
Democratic areas. New York City is a Democratic area.
I'll look it up right now as you're speaking.
Okay, go look it up. You can look it up all you want.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
True, though.
They happen. Utah, which is fully Republican, are one of those places,
No, you're nothing but.
right? There's gun killings, but it's 200. Atlanta, Georgia, New York City, large metropolis, they might not have the per capita killing, but the larger numbers come from highly democratic areas where the laws are too stringent on guns. Remember, the only thing that you see, wait, let's talk about the truth. In the media, what kind of weapons do you know? What kind of violence do you see? Mass shootings, right? Mass shootings. And they talk about mainly by white folks or police shooting, right? That's what they talk about in the media.
Whatever.
You can say whatever you want. Look at the numbers,
Andre, I'm gonna send this to you, and then you can share it with your friend.
Wait, what?
right?
What you say?
She can share something with you, right? What else? Your boy Adams and Biden are. Well, oh, wait. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the point of privilege. Andre's point of privilege.
Oh my gosh, what is this now?
Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Anthony Bass has sparked a heated social media debate. And John, I want your opinion on this. His 24-year-old pregnant wife of 2. And she's 22-week pregnant, not 24 years old, but 22 weeks pregnant, has a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old on the plane. Right? The kid ate the popcorn and made a mess in the plane, and she was offended that the flight attendant said that she needed to clean up. Her husband, who's a major league player, rich, has money, felt that it was not her place to clean up. It was the flight crew in all capacities. So the flight attendant, the cleaners, whomever else, that they're supposed to clean up the plane. Now we know that planes turn fast and they're looking to minimize the amount of cleaning that they need to do so they can move the plane along so other people are not delayed at the airport. But that it was important because my selfish nature said you need to say, of course I'm leading my opinion right away, right? Mm-hmm. You hear my opinion right away. So what's your thought on that, John? Did she have a right to say that they need to clean up and she didn't need to clean up, or do you feel like she had to do her part to have her kids clean up?
She needs to clean that shit up herself.
Hey!
Oh, she needs to clean that stuff. Oh, she needs to clean that stuff up. I would clean it up. I wouldn't expect anybody to clean it up. I would clean it up.
Because it's my mess.
Yeah, it's my child's mess. I'll clean it up.
This about being pregnant.
Huh?
It's about her being pregnant.
I don't know. I mean, with the child or whatever it is, it's just like, sometimes you got to take responsibility. like I have to at times too, when I don't want to.
You know,
I think
we're gonna get Dr. Brian. Well, Brian's take on it right after this commercial from our partners. Thank you for joining us on the Village Radio Talk Show. We're brought to you by the Single Parent University that has open admissions, and meaning that you can join up at any point. Just starting from today, right? So the course curriculum includes personal development, mindful parenting, support seminar, financial management, nutrition and wellness. Program benefits includes free session childcare, transportation, social support hub, resume and cover letter writing, career exploration, legal assistance. Just call 646-779-6767 or text SPU to 71441. Again, text SPU to 71441 or call 646-779-6767. And thank you for being one of our sponsors. By the way, those people who haven't had a phone call in a while, because we're talking a lot and forgot to let you know, and we haven't had a Freestyle Thursday in a while either, John.
Freestyle.
Freestyle Thursday. You could call us at 718-841-9980. Call us right in the studio. We love to hear from you. Love to hear some of your comments on anything that we're talking about. You could tell me whether you disagree with me, agree with me. I like when you guys say you disagree with me. I like it better when you let me know you disagree with me. When you call in to argue with me, I like that. I'm fine with you agreeing with Dr. Brian and Dr. Sampson, but you could disagree with me. I'm good with that. They could tell you how they feel about that. But just call in and let us know what's going on out there. So we're talking about the 22-month pregnant lady, mother of two, wife of Anthony Bass, the Toronto Blue Jays pitcher. Is it a case of privilege? I'm privileged and I don't need to do this, or is this a case of no, it's not privilege, but you have a job to do? What is your take? And Dr. Brian, what is your take on it? You're muted.
They should have never gave the kids popcorn. Who gave the kids popcorn? It wasn't the mother. It was the stewardess. Come on. If you want, a 2-year-old is going to take in and toss it. So why would you give them popcorn? Give them something else.
So you say it comes with the hazard of the job.
Yeah, that's part of your work. So guess what? If there's a spill, you're gonna tell somebody to wipe it up? Come on. If it was somebody else, a male dropped something or milk or something. Oh no, you can't get off the plane. You gotta wipe it up. That is ridiculous. The woman was pregnant. She
I
had
never thought about it from that angle.
Yeah, the woman was pregnant. She had 2 kids. You're not going to say the same thing to a male. You're not going to say the same thing to somebody who accidentally, and it was accident. It could have just, hey, the whole popcorn bag could have fell. The child could have been eating it and it fell on the floor. So what? Am I supposed to clean up after all the time? It's an accident. That's what it is. And you're not supposed to leave and get up and move around with kids. You're going to leave the kids and then pick up? No.
I think it's the entitlement. I think it's the entitlement of it, because like if say I was like what do you call it, the stewardess, and I see it, I probably would clean it. Likely, of course. I'm looking at it from the angle like pregnant lady. She has like 3 kids or over a month. We gave them popcorn on the ground. You clean up, but then no entitlement. You gotta clean this because it's your responsibility. What? That
comes funny. One of the comments, it's a good point. I think both of you, all 3 of you, are making a good point. Many years ago, when I was AP safety, so we're talking about 6 years ago, right? I was sitting in the safety meeting, Dr. Brian, and the assistant principal, who was pregnant at the time, on child number whatever, but it was multiple, so she had at least 4 children at that point.
So what?
No, wait, hold on, let me finish the comment. When you guys jump in, I don't finish. It can go.
No. As soon as you say, "Oh, it's like pregnancy number
No. But you gotta let me finish, right? I always say that. Let me finish before, and then you jump on me when I'm done. So if I'm say something wrong, then you jump on me. So she was like pregnancy number 4 or something like that, or more. And I looked at her, and I said to her, "Is this okay with you?" Because she was visibly pregnant, right? It wasn't like I'm making an assumption that she's pregnant. And she said to me, "I'm not a handicap. I'm pregnant, not a handicap, not an invalid." Right? So it's kind of like, I've been here before. I've done this. I know what I can, like my expectation. So that's the angle I'm taking it from. Not that she doesn't have a right to be pregnant. I'm not questioning her or fertility, right? Right. So can it go back to that comment? And one of the comments on the social media was the 32-week pregnant woman. I said 22 months, by the way. I realized I've been saying 22 months for a while. 22 weeks. So the one that was 32 weeks said she should have cleaned up. She made the mess. She should have better control of her children. Or if you know that, or monitor what their children are doing, what her children were doing. And so she is responsible for that. That's one angle to look at it. Not because your 22 weeks make you an invalid, as the AP told me. Don't look at me funny because I'm pregnant. I can still be productive and be part of this. That's another side to look at it too. But I never really looked at it, like I said. And I also look at it from another side, right? I have a gardener, right? I have a plumber, right? I have a housekeeper. I have a person who wash my car. Or you add in, I have in your own, whatever you want to add in there. I don't do my mechanic work. I don't do this. I don't do that. I allow these people, because if I do all of these things, there's no need for have this person. So is it a point of personal privilege if I'm not personal privilege? If it's a privileged situation where you say, hey, if I clean up this plane, the flight crew, you become redundant, because and some of you are going to become redundant because now if all of the passengers are required to clean up, right? What is the purpose? What do I need to have so many of you? You're just going to sit around and I'm paying you for nothing. That's a good point. I never really thought about it. That's a good angle to take it from. John, what's your rebuttal? Or Andre, for that matter, because Andre did say something.
I still stand by.
You got to use the mic.
I still stand by. If you come off with this entitlement that I have to do this work for you, no, I'm gonna have that pushback. But at the end of the day, I'm paid to do the cleanup, right? I'll do my cleanup. I'll do my cleanup work. But I don't think you should. It's like the garbage, with the garbage people collect your garbage itself, and you're like, oh, they need to collect it because that's their job. I think that's not cool. That's not cool. They sometimes don't even get a thank you, or the custodians, they don't even get a thank you. We're still not expecting them to clean up. It's like, thank you, I appreciate the work. And you clean up too. Clean up your classroom too, right?
I hate when a custodian is always focused on the fact that elementary school kids make mess. I hate that. Oh, you need to. So why are you here? Mm-hmm. I do hate that. So I definitely hear what Dr. Brian.
No. I'm saying,
I hate that.
No, a lot. But that's what I'm saying though. It's your job, right? Mm-hmm. To do the cleanup. But I think, like from me, I don't think a person should look at it and say, well, you have to clean. Like, there's this entitlement that people can come off a certain way with it. So I mean,
you know, Andre.
Yeah.
I used to have custodians in my 25 years of teaching. Mm-hmm. I have custodians that actually did the work 3 hours, and for the next 5 hours they did nothing.
That's problematic too.
They did nothing for 5 hours, and the day that I'm working with you, right? You say the kids in, dump out your desk, right? Dump out your desk, throw everything on the floor. I will clean up. Versus the custodians like, oh, this desk is so messy, this floor is. They're kids.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want my kids sitting in a desk at a desk all day, not moving around. No, I don't want you throwing papers at each other, right? I don't want that. But depending on your age, you make more mess.
Yeah.
They go to sleep for 3 hours. You come to work to go to sleep because you have a second job, right? Now, I don't know. I kind of agree with you, Dr. Martin. How come you're so busy back in the background?
Just going back to the lady itself. When a flight attendant or cleanup crew, you're paid to do that. Do it. All right. As from the pregnant mother's standpoint, you also have your kids, right? There's accountability, right? So you can do the cleanup. I think even saying, "Hey, can you help me out here?" I'm sort of like in a certain position, or just like not say something where you're just like you feel like you're higher than the person.
Mhm.
That's really it. There's a sense of respect right there. I'm not higher than you. But
You know what I would like to know? The
Yeah.
person that was sitting in front, behind, or
Mhm.
next to them
Mhm.
to hear if it was a matter of somebody was being disrespectful.
Yeah, I think social media also kind of twists up the thing itself. So I guess even
I don't think they twist it up. I think they don't tell the angle from which
yeah,
it came.
yeah.
Like,
No.
was
Yeah.
she disrespectful or was the flight attendant?
Yeah.
Like, did the flight attendant walk over to say, like, yo, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
What the hell are your kids doing? Or the flight attendant walk up and say, ma'am, can you assist us by doing such and such? And she's like, I'm not doing that. It's your job.
Right there.
Right?
That's
So we can be chastising her,
yeah.
right? Because again, I've learned
Mhm.
she's gonna tell her husband from her angle.
Yeah.
How dare she tell me to do this?
I think she gonna tell the husband her angle.
Right.
But you got to remember, she's also a social media person.
Who, the wife?
Yes.
So she's looking for her moment of fame as well.
She has her own following. Her sister-in-law is big time. She's on social media. Her spouse is known. So,
But
there's a lot going on with that.
there were mixed reactions on this situation too. Funny enough, we didn't even hear John's rebuttal. So
John, what's your rebuttal? Yeah, we're talking about
the
that.
last point.
Last point, and then we'll move on to the next topic.
I just think it's
Mike.
I mean, just overall, when are we going to get to the point where we learn to just respect one another?
Talk the truth too. That's the other thing. That people miss.
A simple courtesy to just be human to one another. When is going to come to that point?
That's true.
Everything can't be just a point of privilege, because I always believe in there before the grace of God you go.
Mhm.
Because the next moment,
And it's the next moment.
It can be your turn.
He who sin cast the first stone.
Yeah, I love sharing the story of how the same people you meet on the way up is the same people you're gonna meet on the same way on the way down, right? So
That's so true. Let me tell you that. It's so
Hold on. Why are you laughing, Doc? Tell us the story, Doc.
no, but it,
we know it. Oh my God! Don't do that. That is messed up. Even John I was anticipating the story too.
no, I
You
have
can leave all the names out. Just talk about the situation. The person that listens to the show anyway right now.
it's just, it's
You don't call
I don't know who's watching. I got to be careful with that because you got a lot of people watching, so I can't be as
Yeah.
open and free as I would like. But yes,
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. As long as you leave out the names of the innocent.
no, key thing, treat people fair, treat people right, because those you treat like trash, the youngest child you should treat with respect, because you never know. That child might end up being your boss. That child might end up being, the person who helped you out later on. And you don't want to have regrets to top it off. And if you talk about somebody and you think you're better than, watch it. Because sometimes God puts you at a table and you look at them and you shake your head and they have to address you. Remember that. That's all.
Yeah.
That's my 2-piece.
Yeah, it's a good point, right? Think about Antonio Reynoso, right? All of a sudden now he's the vice president. So a lot of people who now they're looking for him for a job. Me too, right? They're looking for him for a job, right? People who didn't like Eric, now they're looking for Eric for a job. Me too. I always liked Eric, but I'm still looking for. I'm just putting a plug in for another job.
You keep plugging in it. Oh my God, are you really serious? You really want to go back to work?
Of course I want to go. I told you I gotta pay for my damn medication. You think I'm joking? Those things are not it. My medication costs more than $5,000 a year.
Mm.
Okay?
Yeah,
My medication costs more, and not only does it cost more than $5,000 a year, I'm not even getting the top of the line medication because they've cut some of them because of that. Trust me. Right? So, you know, I mean,
So this country have to do a better job. Just our medical system, our insurance company have to do a better job. When someone is sick, it's not when you go on attack mode and cut their services, and that's kind of backwards, you know.
the statement I'm about to say sounds horrible. That I'm about to say, and I hear it.
Okay, so don't say it. So don't.
I'm going to say it anyway.
Oh,
the reality of the situation is the life expectancy for me, having what I have, is not. They didn't expect that over these years.
God has other plans.
That's not what I'm saying. Don't throw that in there. That's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying, Roger?
I'm simply saying that we start off the show. No, it wasn't here. America basically deals with money, and I'm going to get to that next. Right? That's going to be our next topic in the rising prices. America works on money. They do a data, they do a number. We might not look at number. We might work on feelings, but they work on numbers. The person with pancreatic cancer, the expected life expectancy is this. It's going to cost my company this, right? This is what needs to happen for this, right? I'm not in business to lose money. I'm in business to make money. All right? That's a fact.
Correct.
Right? So the expectancy for me isn't 40 months. The expectancy is 6 months, not even a year. So now I'm 3 years in. And my medication, which are cheaper, but in America, they're damn expensive, right? So my medication might cost $7,000 to build. Because remember, it's a rare cancer I have, right? So the medication they're building, they don't expect 1 million people to be on it.
True.
So therefore, they're going to up the cost so that the people can make money. So, you know, it's unfortunate. So that brings me to our next topic, right? Which is finances and the way the United States, how the United States look at foreign policy. And I was having this conversation today while I was at the doctor's. He was a Republican. I know that he didn't tell me, but from the conversation, I knew he was. No, I'm not saying it in a good or bad way. And so I'm gonna throw the topic out, say a word or two, then I'm gonna throw it back to both of you. United States make up 4% of the world's population. However, they are responsible for, I think it's 25% of the world economy, I think, or something close to it. Involvement, not necessarily responsible for, but involvement in the world's economy, which is significantly greater than the population. The United States have the most millionaires of any country around the world, not the richest people, but the most millionaires, right? So again, we have three. I think the top three now belongs to us: Elon Musk, Bill Gates, a couple other people that they belong to us. But United States does not get involved with foreign policy primarily for social issues. They get involved with foreign policy for economic gains. So if we think about it, we defend the Middle East. Why? Oil. Right? We defend a lot of Europe, tourism, whiteness, bringing it to America. We are European Americans, so we're going to defend it that way. We go to Africa and we go through, like other countries, and take away the resources, remove heads of state who are not allowing the United States access to their resources. And then we fall under, then we put it a twist of social injustice, right? And say, because they're treating the people wrong. We are one of the most hated country around the world. When you go to different countries, they don't like Americans. So do you think that the primary, that's my opinion, right? No, not my opinion. Some of it is actually factual. But my opinion is that it's the finances, right, that tell people why I'm there. What's your thought? Do I have to call on one of you first, man?
I mean, what are the point you're trying to drive?
I'm saying, economically, as we look at the United States financial statement, do you think that what is the primary reason why you think America think that foreign policy is more important? Because other countries are more nationalistic. Spain is very nationalistic, right? China is more nationalistic, right? African countries are more nationalistic than the United States, right? So nationalistic mean that I am here, I'm insular. My money stays in my country. I'm not going out. What do you think is the United States purpose, goal, needs, want for this to happen? So, John, don't be late next time, Empress. Be on time.
I don't know.
Thank you for joining us, though.
You know, Roger, sometimes that's just, it befuddles me. Meaning that something that is so simple, we make it so difficult. And, you know, what was very interesting, I was listening to Cuomo last night on, I think, News Nation.
Chris or Andrew? I don't know. Chris. He's on News Nation now.
And they had Bill O'Reilly, and Bill O'Reilly talked about the fear and anger of people turn into hate. And this is real. This is the way people are feeling and looking towards one another. And it is because of it's partly because of what's going on politically, the whole thing of where we're creating the Democrats and there's no sense of chivalry amongst elected officials. No sense of camaraderie anymore. And this leads to one faction against the other faction, allowing a news station like Fox News to promote an agenda that is clearly false and so many conspiracy theories to trigger these individuals to the point where, you know what, they're sitting home watching The Village while these people are in prison behind the wall. So, you know, it's just perplexing, man. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, you know, what's your thought on the topic, Dr. Ryan?
With the whole America.
But it's not just America, but the foreign policy component of America as well.
Listen, America don't get involved in anything unless they have something to gain out of
The
it.
interest, yes.
Maintain power.
Dr. Ryan is correct.
If they're going to help a country that is in need, you know that there is some investment, something that is important in that country for them to get involved in. It's not just, hey, I'm just going to help just for help, because they pick and choose who they want to help. So not everyone who actually needs support receives support. So it's a political and financial decision that's made.
But how do we? Who's responsible? Whose responsibility is to stop that? I don't know. Like if we understand that this is happening, like it's.
We all play a role.
We all play a role, right?
We all play a role.
But we're benefiting from the power.
You know, I was having a conversation and I'm like, what is the I in the statement? What is the I? What is it that I need to do? What do I need to do? Right? So what is the I?
Well, I mean, so I'm thinking in the sense of
You know, I think, you know what, Andre?
mm,
What I think the I is being more open-minded, being willing to listen to the viewpoints, even the gripes of other individuals before I make a decision, before I make a judgment. And don't be closed-minded. We are so closed-minded, black, white. We have such stereotypes against one another.
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing. And I think we just need to just being being open-minded and just looking something without judging it. Just listen first. Let's get all the facts, and then we can at that point in time use what information we gather to to help us in making a better judgment of a person or its character or situation. That's my thoughts.
You know, while we're on the same conversation about responsible behavior, right? While on the topic, the the fox, right?
wait. I wanted to say
Go ahead.
this one. So going back to what John said, I think it's by design in a sense. So like I'm trying to make sure I put my thoughts right. So I'm thinking about the policy stuff that you mentioned earlier of why America sort of like want to be out there in these other countries, and so it's sort of like this control, this power, right? We think of the U.S. currency, the dollar has the power in all these other countries. So if the dollar becomes no longer of value, right, to these other countries, U.S. sort of lose that power, right? It doesn't have the capability to control, over China or Russia or the other countries. It affects us too because then now whatever it is that they're doing up top, they have to make sure that they might have their benefits, whatever it is that might be benefiting them. Um, in terms of the nationalistic aspect that you mentioned, saying by design, look at the education system. We want to train the people in the country to be for their country. So people come up and if they figure out, okay, I won't be benefited anymore if America loses out. Then it's like, do I really want to play into that itself? Like I'm kind of losing my thought a bit now. Just going out because it was there. It was there.
You're doing okay. You're doing okay. You're
But
doing okay.
the,
You're
the,
doing
the
okay.
the point that I was trying to really point at though is that if America loses its power, it definitely impacts us, right? Because then now we like, for instance,
It impacts us or
Yeah.
impacts Americans?
well, Americans same way. We in America. You look at China and their government is communism itself, right? And what you make is dish out, share out in a sense. Whereas over here, there's that hierarchy, right? Middle class, high class, all that stuff. So it's just like, how much are you willing to give all of what you had and kind of share? And don't get me wrong, I think it's important that we help out, everybody help out each other. But when it comes to it, how much are we willing to do in that sense? I definitely think that what we're doing here is giving information, but also the application of it is necessary. Like even financial literacy itself. So many people have the opportunity to take on some of that knowledge and really dive in, but then now the convenience of it is I'm gonna give somebody else to do it because they know how to do it, and I'm gonna just chill here. It's like I'd rather relax here and do what I'm doing, and you do the work for me. And whatever you're doing could be negative or positively impactful. Except like I don't know, because it's
Or do I
convenient.
care about that impact?
Exactly. So on a larger scale now, how much care is there, right? So I mean, I look at organizations, large, massive organizations that are for cures and all that stuff. when you look at it really, how much money is going to it? You donate your dollar, how much of your dollar is going to the thing that you want it to go to? All right,
That's a
so
good point as
you
well.
know
I like, and how much is it going to pay people?
exactly, and the organization, the people who are organizing in the organization, they're doing some work, so they need that pay. They need to have some sort of means to be able to do that work.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, would they call that double-edged sword or so? I don't know, but yeah.
So we have a big lie, right? So that's Dr. Bryant, the settlement for
Man, she's smiling like that.
the
Like
settlement.
John was ready, like, yeah, this is my thing. I want to talk about this. Let's go.
The settlement for Fox, they agreed
Mm-hmm.
to 787 million.
Mm-hmm.
The problem here is while I was in Tennessee last week,
Mm-hmm.
right, finally on vacation. You guys are complaining about my vacation. Finally, I was on vacation. Right, I was finally on vacation.
What? Always on
Right. So it was a real vacation. So anyway, going on a serious note, right? So the conversation around, I was in Tennessee, and Tennessee is a very red state, right? For those of you who don't really understand politics, red is considered Republican, and blue is considered Democrat, right? The the bumper sticker said Trump 2024. Fox just settled to say that they purposefully delivered false information about, because it's basically what they are agreeing to, because you're not going to pay if you're not guilty, right? To avoid a lengthy trial that could have cost them 1.7.
Repeat
No,
what you said. Repeat what you said before. If you're not guilty, you will agree to pay for it.
If you didn't see sense of responsibility, you're not going to go to trial, right? That's just legal.
Or sometimes you might want to avoid extra headache, and you don't want to be dragged out every day.
You're not going to agree to a $787 million settlement.
They didn't get the $1 billion that they wanted.
I'm sorry, right? But again, it's $787 million, and it's not over yet, right? So it's not over, right? Because another company, Smart Tech, hopefully I'm pronouncing that name right, is suing them for 2.7 billion. Right? So the legal troubles are nowhere near over.
Of course.
Right? So the fact of the matter is, right? The fact is that they have but going back to what I was saying, even with that being said, 2020 Trump. And what we're talking about with responsibility in the United States and what it looks like. Now, how does this help the United States? One, why do people still believe the lie? Two, and they're willing to, after the man has proven in numerous cases, right? And again, it's not about Republican or Democrat, but has proven that he was about staying in office, and whatever the reasons as to why he wanted to stay in office. Right? Because that's a real issue too, right? Why do you want to stay in office?
Power.
Right? Well, it might not just be about power, right?
And he could put more people as judges and control the outcome later on.
Yeah, so it might not be power, right? Trump. It might not be power alone, though. It might be financial gain, right? So a lot of people stay in power to
look at Fox News. Fox News wants to be number one, continue to be number one in ratings, and they are willing to lie to their own audience.
Right. So the question,
that point. So $800
that's where the
million
question's coming in.
$800 million is a drop in the bucket.
Well, no, well, I was just saying to her before you came back that there are a couple other multi-billion-dollar lawsuits that are
Smartmatic.
yes, Smartmatic, and other individuals. So my question to you is, why are people still following the big lie? That's where the question comes in.
Because it is what they believe in.
The lie?
They're clowns. That's what it is.
Doc, I wouldn't even say
I wouldn't
that.
call somebody
What
a
happened,
clown.
Doc? What happened? You did for a second? What happened, Doc?
She had a couple.
Oh.
Today's 420. Today's 420.
What's that mean? We. Oh, we.
National Cannabis Day.
Wait, John joking does though.
Let me know. We.
Right.
Dr. B, we don't know you do that. Oh.
Right.
I was hanging out with Roger. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
I was at the doctor. That much I know.
But yeah, I think that, and it's just. Oh, just recently. Well, we got 2 minutes. Or we're gonna do a commercial.
My name is Teresa Harris. I've been going to Global Police for 5 years. It's a nice place. The people and the staff and everybody in here is very nice. They help us with little things, and I'm glad to be here.
What kind of activities do you do?
Dancing. Sometimes I'm an art teacher. We do art. We do different things. We help each other out.
So, what's your name?
Lillian Williams.
Lillian Williams. So, Miss Williams, tell us a little bit about the social daycare. What is it like to work?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, since I've been here, I've been treated like I was an angel. You know, they treat me nice. They have respect for us. You know, they take us out, and they make sure that we are taken care of good. They give us, Miss Jean and Miss Robert. No, them two old buzzers. She got you on stomach. No, them two ladies there, with that
Jean
one
and
there
Robert.
and that one there, they
The
are
staff.
sweet.
You're talking about the staff.
Yes. They
So,
sweet
what would you say to somebody who is thinking about coming? What would you tell that person?
Come. They would enjoy this. We would be glad to have them. Invite them and let them see.
Tell us about the activities. Tell me some of the activities you do during the
We
day.
do bingo, we do keno, we do arts and crafts. That's the point. Like they have people come in, and she is one of them.
Right. So tell us, what do you enjoy most about the site?
What I enjoy, the people, we like family. I really love family here.
Okay.
Could get a better circus.
Thank you.
I see Doc shimming them shoulders there, Doc. I can tell Doc is a dancing queen, huh, Doc? Love music. Huh, Dr. B?
Music. I do love music.
And she loves to sing too. So that's good.
Oh, let's hear her sing. You want to sing a little something for us, Doc? Dr. B?
Yeah, give us thing.
Give us a little song. Oh, now you're going to play like the microphone mute, huh? Now you can't hear us, Dr. B, huh?
She purposely muted herself.
1-0 now.
All right, so just to add in on to our golden fleece, on me. That's not the commercial I expected, listener. Sorry about that.
Which one? Oh,
All right. Grace Family Services will be opening up their doors coming the first week in May. There'll be an open house next weekend, Friday and Saturday, April 29th and April 30th, right at
1330 Utica Avenue.
1330 Utica Avenue. You can call 646-504-5778 for more information, or send them an email at gracefamilyadult@gmail.com. The website is coming up in a little bit. It's almost there, but it's coming up. So look out for that as well. gracefamilycare.com. gracefamilycare.com. So many things for our seniors. Our people are on
I love it.
Medicaid coming up. So many activities. Come out, enjoy yourself. You get a sampling April 29th and April 30th during the day from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. But starting, you get some lunch, you get music, you get entertainment. So come out and join. Again, looking forward to seeing each and every one of you out there, 1330 Utica Avenue. Next week, before I forget, right, May 6th, 2 weeks from now, the Parent Guardian Network. I'm going to call them not a forum, but I'm calling them a network, sponsored by Stillwater Art
Community.
Community will be having their in-person, right? In-person.
Yeah, one on the 6th and one on the 13th.
Right.
The 6th is in Queens and the 13th is in Brooklyn. So Queens, all our Queens folks and people in Long Island, or if you are just in the area, so stop by Queens. Andre, if you have the 6th, that one, if you could share that one with the 6th, because that's the 13th that's sharing. The 6th one will be off of Merrick Avenue. You could come out. There'll be a lot to do: games, free giveaway, guest speakers, authors, educational resources, and a whole lot more. And there's also a health fair right during that day on the 6th. It will be taking place not too far from across the street from Eagles on Merrick and Linden Boulevard. You can stop by. All are welcome. And on the 13th will be off of Rochester. So please, please, please come on out and join us live and in person and learn some new things. Do some new things. Bring the kids out. Come on out. I know it's 2 Saturdays back to back, but come on and spend some time with us. Thank you.
You don't have to come both Saturdays, but at least come to one. So
Yeah,
you support that's closest. But if you want to come to two, we're happy.
that's
All right.
sure.
All right. Good night, Janice. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone. If we didn't get a chance to say it, thank you for joining us. To all of you out there as well. Of course, Andre's putting all of them up at this point. So
6 is the top one.
the 6th is the top one. So you can just click on just take a picture of the QR code and open up with all of the opportunity for you to register.
Yeah.
So right. Free giveaway. Make sure you have my gift back since I can't come to either one.
It'll be at Morning Star Baptist Church.
What time? What time does it start? Maybe after 12.
From 12 to 3.
Where's Morningstar, Dr. B?
That is off of Merrick Boulevard. It is 114-44 Merrick Boulevard, corner of Linden Boulevard. Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church.
Tell me the one for Brooklyn. That one.
Brooklyn will be at the Berenian Community and Family Life Center, and that's off of Rochester. I know it's saying Bergen, but it is on Rochester Avenue. So it's
And
118
the time as well. For the time out there as
12
well.
to 3. 12 to 3.
Okay, 12 to 3. So both times are from 12 to 3.
Yes.
Of course, it'd be so great if you made it early in the morning. Right?
No, it's we let people sleep in.
We
So
don't
we
want
don't
to
take too much of your time. Just come on out and have fun.
middle of the day on a Saturday, But anyway, by the way, make sure you think about what we talk about in terms of maybe adding the cannabis component to the workshop for bringing awareness to families about that as well, because that's important too. Eric Adams rightfully, right,
Mhm.
is upset with Joe Biden for where he blasts Biden and blames him for the 55,000 asylum seekers who have now entered New York. And it's kind of like the homeless shelters, John.
Wait.
Where everybody has to do their fair share, right? You do your fair share. So basically, New York City has criticized, the mayor has criticized Joe Biden and his administration for allegedly neglecting the city's influx of asylum seekers, causing one of the largest humanitarian crises the cities have ever faced. I know sometimes the media put those words out. It's not one of the largest, but it is a very important comment about the humanitarian issues. The mayor accused the White House of turning its back on the city and leaving it to handle the arrival of over 55,000 asylum seekers. The influx of immigrants has led to a projected increase of $4.2 billion on the budget, right, that the city needs to absorb, which obviously is a problem. And that forces the city to make a lot of cuts to offset that cost.
Mm-hmm.
So that means a lot of after school programs, a lot of summer programs, a lot of these programs, housing, it will be affected by it, right? The national government has turned its back to New York City. Okay, we just went over that and called on Biden and the United States Department of Homeland Security to use all tools that are available to resolve the issue. I want that the number of asylum seekers in the city could jump from 52 to 500,000. It's a real issue, right?
It's a real issue, and
don't give me that left. I want your right side this time. Not your left side. Don't give me your left side. Give me your right side.
I am giving you the truth. The truth is that what we're experiencing, can you imagine those border counties and what they have experienced for years regarding the influx of migrants coming across those borders?
So the Republican states like Texas
being inundated like we are at this point in time.
Wait. Sophia put something up. Hold on. Read Sophia's
I am joined the Dream of Surrogates set to support.
A team, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Joined the team. Mayor Adams joined a team of surrogates set to support Biden's re-election campaign. He also once called himself the Biden of Brooklyn. How would you view his comments and the effects of it? I view, no, it's not even a change of mind. We can agree to disagree. Mm-hmm. This is his point of view, and this is the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's and the best thing we can deal with it is deal with the reality. The reality is that we need help from the federal government to deal with this.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And that's it. Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm not going to support. That does not mean I'm not going to support him. But on this topic and this issue, we need help, and I'm going to ask you for it and call you out. Bring attention to it, because I'd rather me doing it as a Democrat than doing it, than those Republicans are doing it and create such a story about it. He's like saying, "Hey, he's been asking for help. This is not the first time he's been doing this."
So my take on this is a little bit different.
What's up, Big Daddy? What's up, brother?
All right.
We help people with. We are helping people without the help of the people that allow them in. That's you right, Danny.
I think that it's kind of like the shelters.
It is the shelters, brother.
No, I'm saying it's kind of like the shelter system that's happening in New York City. Certain areas as a matter of fact, at my community board last night, another shelter is popping up in our district. Right, another one. Right.
What's the problem with shelters?
No. I'm talking about the same. I'm not talking about. We're not going to discuss the problem with shelters right now. I'm just going to say the connection. Right. I'm drawing an analogy. Simply that we need to force and compel other areas of the United States, just like we need to force and compel other areas of the city to take on some of the burdens that shelters, immigration issues bring. It cannot be what would they call sanctioned cities that are taking 90-something% of the brunt. Because economically, we all need to feel the burden. If as Christians, right, and Christian values, as Jews, as Muslim, and you put in there any religion you want, as human beings, we all have a responsibility for areas where people are seeking assistance. So it shouldn't just be my house that bears the burden, especially like Daniel said, we're not getting the help, right? Don't ask me to take in a foster kid if you're not giving them money to assist with taking in a foster kid. That foster kid has now become a burden for me and the remainder of my family. Not that they put themselves in the situation, but I also have to think about my immediate family situation. Just a thought. Any comments? Or we silent?
We're not silent, brother. I'm gonna let Dr. Brian take it.
But Dr. Brian didn't take that. She's shaking her head. She says, that's unbelievable. I tell you what, Dr. Brian, since what I'm saying is unbelievable, let's move 2 migrants into your apartment.
Listen, I was
And don't give no money.
Welcome. Come on in. All in.
You know what? I'm gonna leave my wife.
Say that.
I'm gonna leave my wife. Come over to your house and don't pay no bills.
Welcome.
Coming in, listening to the Village Radio Talk Show.
We have space.
From John Sampson.
John, all of us are coming in. All of us are coming over.
To Dr. Brian. Thank you for coming in. We wish you a blessed balance of the week, a great weekend, and we will see you here, same time, same channel.
And are we having guests next week, Andre, or do we have freestyle?
Yes, Mr. Edwards will be back on to speak about cannabis.
Yeah. Speak more about cannabis. Thank you so much, as John said. Thank you so much for watching, joining, sharing, viewing, listening to The Village. And thank you for all of those who are, all of our YouTube subscribers who have come on. Looking forward to work more with you, to help be part of the movement. We appreciate it so much. Happy, what is it? How do we say that? Mubarak? How do we make, I forgot the entire expression, but to all our Muslim brothers and sisters who are celebrating Eid Fitr, congratulations to all of you. And we, like John said, looking forward to seeing you next week. And happy birthday to any birthday that I missed. I know my aunt, Auntie Clarence, having her birthday next week, Tuesday. No, not Tuesday, Wednesday. It's her birthday. So happy birthday to you. And anybody else that my aunt Ashley is having a birthday.
Good night. Be safe.
When is it? 28th? The 23rd?
23rd.
Yeah, on Friday. On Sunday. Happy birthday.
Council.
Huh?
Carlson.
Oh, Carlson.
No, same day.
Same day, the 23rd. Happy birthday, all of you. God bless. Enjoy.